So guys, I have a little bit of a confession to make. I do not know a whole lot about the Backrooms. I know it's like a originally internet made idea, and I've seen the original film by Kane Pixels on YouTube. Other than that, I don't really know a whole lot about it going into this movie. I have a basic understanding of how it works, but I really don't know a whole lot. Of course, when the movie was announced, I thought it was interesting, and I decided then I was going to go see it. The posters look awesome. The trailer looked good. There was buzz around it. I love horror movies. I was interested. I thought this was going to be something that was going to be good. I can also say that I actually am a fan of Kane Pixels, despite only ever seeing his first Backrooms video. I have actually watched his Attack on Titan found footage series. Attack on Titan is so peak, please watch it. And I've seen his series about the oldest view, which is something that really impressed me when I saw it. Just, you can tell he puts a lot of dedication to his work, and so knowing that going into this movie, I had high hopes, we'll say that at least. So really, what did I think about this movie? After knowing all that I know, and armed with the basic knowledge of the Backrooms, and a love and fear for analog horror, I went into this movie with a group of friends. We made some plans, we went into it, and I can actually soundly say, okay guys, for real, this movie was actually super good. I've heard, of course I knew the mixed reviews I heard going into it. I tried to avoid reviews, but for this movie it was kind of hard. It was creating a lot of buzz, especially with Obsession coming out, and these two movies kind of, not really going head to head, but just kind of really being in public space. I heard a lot of different opinions, they were mixed. I heard it was bad, I was worried. I went into it, and when it first started, I wasn't super blown away, but I just kind of stuck with it and stuck it out, and this movie is so good. I want to keep this review kind of spoiler free, so I will tell you, please go watch this movie. If you were interested in any way, watch it. If you're a fan of the Backrooms, watch it. You will enjoy it. I want to keep this review pretty spoiler free, so I'm going to try to not say a whole lot. I'm going to try to keep the details vague, but there will be parts if I ever get into spoilers, I'll flash a warning up on screen, or I'll say it out loud so you'll know. So just keep that in mind. You should not have to worry about spoilers in this video. I'm going to do my best to not say anything. Okay, so let's start off with the first thing I want to talk about, the vibe. The vibe of this movie is really, it's nostalgic in a way, but also dark. Each scene kind of feels like weight. You feel like the heaviness of the scenes that are supposed to have weight. And there's scenes that when they hold out, you feel the tenseness. Like silence, a lot of the movie has a lot of silence in it. There's not a whole lot of music. A lot of the noise is just ambiance or just sound, normal, just natural sound. And you really feel like the tension and the weight of scenes as they kind of just wait. And also the vibe for this movie, holy A24. I can probably tell you how many A24 movies I've seen. It's not a lot of them. I'll flash some of them up on screen right now. I've probably seen more than I'm showing on screen, but I have not cracked the surface of A24 movies at all. If you guys want to know, my favorite A24 movie is probably X or The Iron Claw. Those movies are really good. Anyways, but yeah, the movie just has an overall vibe. I love the vibe of the movie. It's very psychological. The movie's, I'll tell you, is very psychological. It is not your typical jump scare, run away from the monster kind of film. I think a lot of people expected that, and that's why the reviews were so mixed. This is a very slow paced, psychological, slow burning type of movie, and at the end of it, it really makes you think. I can tell you, I confidently turned to my group of friends and I said, guys, I just need a minute. It was a lot. There are a lot of scenes in the movie that stood out to me. Right at the beginning, it shows an analog horror kind of VHS style POV. I've seen the trailer, so I knew this whole movie wasn't going to be this. But I said, if this movie was just this would actually be a really good movie. It's just like the YouTube videos. It probably would have been more divisive than it already is. But I thought it was good. However, there were a lot of those scenes in the movie. There were probably about 3. And those scenes were some of my favorite scenes of the movie, and I thought they worked really well, and that's something that I just wanted to praise and were some of my highlights of the movie. The analog scenes worked very well in the part of the movies that I was the most engaged in, and they really took me in and made me engage and made me believe this movie. So I want to talk about the actors for a minute. The main character's name is Clark. He's played by this man. I'll throw his name up on screen, Bear Murdo from Doctor Strange. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name because I'm going to butcher it horribly, and I don't want to do that. But he was very good in the movie. There's a scene at the end where it goes crazy. I'm not going to spoil the scene right now, but it is, honestly, it impressed me. I was very impressed. But he plays a very kind of complex character. Not a character that's too complex, but he's able to show his emotions really well, and he really impressed me in this movie. I haven't seen him in anything besides, like I said, Doctor Strange, which he plays a supporting role in, but this movie really impressed me. I actually do like him. I can confidently say I'm a fan of his now. Also, we have, I'm probably going to butcher her name as well, Renate Rinsby. I think that's how you say that. Anyway, she plays Mary, who is Clark's therapist, and she's also main character. She's in a lot of the trailers and everything, but there's only like 6 characters in this movie, and so the cast is pretty limited, but you would not know that. They work with what they have very well, and less is definitely more. And of course, that makes sense for a movie about the Backrooms. Also, surprisingly, this is kind of a spoiler, so you can skip to this time if you want to skip it. Mark Duplass is in this movie. Of course, I only know him from Creep, but he's obviously super good in Creep. He kind of plays a limited role in this movie as one of the scientists investigating the Backrooms. He plays a guy named Phil. There's a really funny scene towards the end where he just walks in the room and just states his name, and I thought that was pretty funny. But I know him from Creep. Obviously, he's very good in Creep. And in this movie, he's good. He plays a limited role, but when I saw him, I did the Leonardo DiCaprio point.
Here I come.
So overall, all the actors in the movie did good. I have no complaints. There were no holes in the acting. I mean, I don't ever expect there to be. If there ever is, I'd point it out. But other than that, they all did great. Next, I'll talk about one of my favorite part of the movie, which is something I don't think I've ever said about the movie before, which is the sets. I don't think I've ever watched a movie besides this one and said, wow, the sets in that movie were really good. Because it's just not something I'm getting more into film and how it's made as a student myself. And so looking at this movie and looking through it through a lens like that for sets changed a lot of how I view it. The sets in this movie are so good. Now, obviously, the Backrooms, I'm going to talk about that in just a second. The Backroom sets are obviously great. They built like thousands of square feet of actual Backrooms. A lot of it's not CG, which these days is crazy. And that's something that obviously impressed a lot of people, including me. But the sets themselves, even outside of the Backrooms, are very impressive. I love how the sets represent the characters in this movie. Mary's sets, all her sets are very crowded and full of items and things. Like in her office, she has a bunch of things. They show memories of her childhood home, and there's just things filling the scenes. Couches, shelves are full of things, crowded clothes, things like that. And then on Clark, on the other hand, all his things are very laid out, organized. And he owns a furniture store in the movie, and all his dressers and lamps and everything are evenly laid out and like perfectly spaced. And it was just a choice that I think is very interesting, and it represented each character. Each character had their own kind of determined way the set was dressed, and I think that was really cool. And also the Backrooms, of course, are obviously amazing as sets. The way they intricately space it out, and the fact that it was in real life, is really cool, and I'm sure that actually helped a lot with the filming process. But the fact that it was just all there, all laid out, and it was able to capture the vibe of the original films, just the vibe of the Backrooms in general, was a big part of why this movie was so good. And the way they set up certain rooms, I won't go in too much into spoilers, but just know, there's a scene with a Christmas tree. Oh my, that scene got me, and it is really good. And that just goes to show the set matters, and the sets add to the creepiness of the movie. Just the way the Backrooms is blank. And so when it actually has set dressing in it, it completely changes like the vibe and how you feel. You see something in a room, and just the ability of the set, the way the set is dressed, can make you go, oh no. And it's just things like that. And so I thought this is actually one of the first times I ever watched a movie and said, wow, the set dressing in that movie was really good. And one of the only problems I had with the movie was just the pacing. The pacing wasn't bad. When I first went to the movie, I saw that it was an hour. I think it's an hour and 45 minutes. And going into it, I said, wow, that's kind of short. An hour and a half to me is just short. I mean, I know you could fill time with that. I've seen movies who fill that time perfectly, but I just thought for something as complex, that seemingly was as complex as the Backrooms, I didn't know how they were really going to fit it in. So as I was watching the movie, it's the first, like, we'll say half hour, and I'm watching it, and I thought, wow, this movie is really slow. It just felt really slow. But once it got into the Backrooms, it picked up a lot. But there's some scenes that just made me frustrated, because there's a scene where they slowly enter the Backrooms, and then they slowly exit the Backrooms, and then they like stare for a while, and it's just, at this point we've already been introduced to the Backrooms. We know the concept, we know like how they get there, and it's very just kind of slow. And to me, it felt like it kind of dragged at those parts, but that was just me personally. I don't know if I particularly like things that are faster paced, but I feel like if it just was quickened up just a little bit, it would have been okay. Now, obviously, everyone has their nitpicks. Everyone's obviously not going to think every movie is perfect. That was just my little nitpick. Honestly, the movie is fine how it is. I understand the choice and why it was made. It was just to build the tension. I understand it. It was just something that I decided that I wanted to nitpick really for this one. So now I'll put up the spoiler warning. There's going to be some spoilers. I'm about to talk about some theories and symbolism that I want to try to get into real quick just to put this in. I'm not trying to make this a big video essay. It's just supposed to be kind of a more laid back, casual review. Something new for the channel. This is another type of video I'm going to be doing, which is reviews of new movies I watch, or movies I think are worth talking about that are new or coming out or I see in theaters. And I also want to throw in a little bit of symbolism and my, analyzation at the end. So we'll do that now. So one thing about the movie that's a spoiler that first thing I want to say is I thought the concept of the Backrooms remembering things was really interesting. The way that Clark explains to Mary at the end that it remembers things but remembers them wrong and changes them. I thought that was really interesting. Like I said, I don't know a lot about the Backrooms outside of the very first video. If that's something that's in the videos, I don't know about it, but I thought that was really interesting, and the way it was portrayed through the people and the objects in the room. One thing I thought was interesting that I didn't realize until that I saw on Twitter today was there's one scene where he walks into a room and it has a big throne that's broken with shoes on the ground, and that's actually from a scene earlier when Clark records an advertisement for his furniture store, and I didn't know that. So it just shows that the Backrooms was always remembering and copying everything from the beginning, and even the way it copies certain people and the way it copies them and the imagery that's running through that was something that really gave me a sense of uneasiness, and was something that I thought was great for the movie. Like I said, that Christmas tree scene, it got me. So one thing that I think the Backrooms is supposed to kind of represent the directionlessness of Clark's life. He just got kicked out of his house. He owns a furniture store and a business that he feels is going nowhere. He's somebody that's really kind of stuck in his ways and he can't change. So the Backrooms is supposed to represent his character, this kind of infinite void, devoid of any change. And even at the end, he says this to Mary. He says that he doesn't want to change, and consequently, he doesn't want to leave the Backrooms. And so I think the Backrooms is supposed to be just a reflection of his character, to kind of represent the fact that he has no direction. The Backrooms has no direction. It's an infinite void that kind of, I think, represents in his character as well. And so I thought that was something in the movie that I picked up and that I thought was really interesting. And I don't care what anybody says. That's my headcanon, and that's what I'm going with. I'm really excited for what this means for the future regarding independent films and people giving young filmmakers a chance. This movie and the movie Obsession, which is a movie I definitely need to go see, and I heard a lot of good things about it. I just love that they're getting love and they're getting attention at the box office. These movies are like breaking records, which is something that I think is awesome. I feel like horror, at least once every year, has a bit of like a standout movie. And for 2026, it's definitely these two movies, it seems like, going to be this year. But overall, this movie is a movie you kind of have to just kind of give into. You kind of just got to sit and experience it and take it for what it is. That's what I had to do. When I went into it, I had expectations. And as it started, I kind of just let these expectations go as it went on and kind of got immersed in the movie. And I had a way better time watching it. I took it at face value, and I really enjoyed it. I think this movie, if you take it like that, it's great. That's how you should take it. Like I said, the movie had some slow pacing issues at the beginning, but once it picked up, it was great, and I had a great time watching it. I think it's a movie you can watch with friends, but I don't know if it's a movie you really want to... I don't think it's a movie for everybody. I definitely do not think this is a movie that everybody's going to enjoy and everyone's going to sit down and have a great time with. Like I said, it's slow, it's methodical, it's very psychological, it's a movie you have to think about. But if you love A24, you're going to love this movie, 100%. And if you love The Backrooms, even though I don't know a lot about it, I think this is a movie you can enjoy. And I've heard that kind of resonated with other people who actually have given the movie positive reviews. I understand why the movie has mixed reviews, but personally, I don't think that they're valid. I think that this movie is great. And for a young filmmaker, Kane Parsons is only 20 years old. And so for him to make something like this, make it to a box office, and have this much positive feedback about it, that's something that should be celebrated. It's something that he should obviously be very proud of. And with rumors of a sequel in works, I think that this is something that's going to has the potential to take off and be really big. So that's all I really have to say about the movie. I hope this video is kind of quick. I intended it for it to be. I just want it to be kind of a short review, kind of just to lay the groundwork for kind of reviews I want to do in the future. I hope you guys are enjoying the content I've been putting out so far. I plan to do more this summer, and I plan to do more in the future. This movie was something that I think deserved to be talked about. It deserves to be talked about. It deserves to be reviewed. And so I thought I would just give my take on it, just to have some extra content and to give something and to share my love for something that I thought should be celebrated. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please check out some of my other stuff if you'd like to. I have some other pretty good projects that I'm proud of. And until then, I will see you in the next one.